the streaming before the screaming. Please release me, let me go. Hi, Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with Astrology Mojo and Transformational Astrology. Yay! Making some adjustments, creaking along the way. Hey, happy Monday. Hope you're doing great. Let me know that you're here. Star is here. Star. Okay. Dean is here. I am here. Who else is here? Let me know that you're here. And my dog Coda is here because she's just tippy-tapping her way over to look at me to see what I'm talking about. We are going to be talking about Mars in the sign of Gemini today. I just want to remind folks, by the way, that the planets don't make you do anything. Because we live in a cooperation with the cosmos, so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect it. Mirror, mirror on the cosmic wall. And astrology merely tells you what time it is. And right now, according to my watch, it is 5 after Pisces. So welcome. Hi, Samantha's here. Good afternoon. Yvonne is here. You know, I was going over some of the stats of the recent Facebook Live events that I have done and looking at who's tuning in. So, I mean, we've got Arizona, California, Idaho, Iowa, Nebraska, South Carolina, North Carolina, Australia, both coasts, England, selling England by the pound, and so many other places. Arkansas, what other places did I see? And I want to just say thanks, folks. Thank you for tuning in. I have to look at my screenshots that I took because I can't remember. Who else is here? Let's see. There's New York, California, Queensland, North Carolina, New Hampshire, Arizona, Central. I don't know what that says. Saskatchewan, Nevada. So lots of people tuning in to listen to what I have to say. And I hope that it helps. Wisconsin, Massachusetts, Florida, New Jersey, British Columbia, Colorado, New York. It's so great they named it twice, right? Nevada. I think I said that. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who tunes in several times a week or whenever you can make it. And to join me here. Hey, Jennifer, Pennsylvania is here. Arkansas. Oh, Texas I saw is part of my list. And we're going to let it grow. So pass the word along that I am here talking to you, wanting to help you transform your life through transformational astrology and conscious awareness. That's the whole gig. Oh, by the way, I bake a lot at home, and I use almond flour. I don't use sugar. I use monk fruit. And lately, I've been adding different colors, and I don't use food dye either, except natural, from turmeric for yellow and etc. So I found, maybe you know of this, I found something called dragon fruit, and it's high in potassium. It's got a lot of electrolytes in it as well. And I just made a hot drink out of it, and it's magenta. It's my favorite color. It's like I am drinking my aura. I am drinking my aura. Okay. We've been talking about Jupiter going into retrograde on April 10th. Now, even though I talk about things within a certain time frame, this information is evergreen because Jupiter will also come back in retrograde again. And so you want to look at it through the eyes and the lens of what can I learn about myself through the definitions and how to apply this definition to my transformation. That's what we're talking about, okay? So when I talk about Jupiter entering into retrograde motion between April 10th and August 11th, 4-month stretch, it's about you going in to discover what's your pattern, what's your big blind spot, and why can't you get past it? But now with the retrograde coming into play, we're already in the prephase. What's going to happen is, and remember, it's not the planet doing it to you, it's your timing. You are ready for something. I just spoke with yesterday at length on the phone. I do my readings over the phone or Zoom, either one. Both are recorded. And we were talking about comparing the past with the present and how they tie in. So that's what any retrograde does. So what I want you to do is look back to 1995 within 12 months, and then again 2007 within 12 months, and I want you to correlate information. What was going on? What were you feeling? What was the predominant issue at the time? And when you start to see the trend or the pattern, we're about to repeat the same thing. Now, doesn't have to be negative. It can be, I started thinking about becoming a school teacher, in 1995, and then I got my degree, and then I was a school teacher in 2007, but I changed grades. Then I taught high school. So that's a learning curve. Why? Why did you feel the need to do that? What was the pay like? What was your experience like? So now here we come again. Every 12 years, within 12 months, Jupiter will return to the same position. So Jupiter spends 1 year in a sign, plus a month or so because of the retrograde. So it'll travel through the constellation, and Jupiter represents expansion. So when Jupiter comes into your sign, your sun, rising, or moon sign, or a predominant placement in your chart, there is going to be expansion. Now, what does that mean? I talked about it several times ago. And the expansion is looking inward to find where's the crack in your foundation? Where's the thing that you can't seem to resolve? How can you move forward with this thing? Or it's the next level to something you've been working on. And so now, because we don't live in a vacuum and we are not the only ones on the planet, some of us are, we have our own planets at times. But all the planets work in conjunction as they represent your development, your stall, your stasis, your emotions, your progress, your opportunity, your pitfalls, your sabotage, all the stuff that comes to you. And it's not the outside world that's doing it. It's you making it happen. Does that make sense? You are the one magnetizing things into your life. So when we look at astrology, what we look at is where are the planets transiting in your natal chart, the chart you were born with. And what does that mean for your evolution, your awareness, your growth, your opportunity? What are you ready for? What are you ready for? So that's the question that if we were to have a dinner party and we invited all the signs and we personified them and we made them people, including the sun and the moon, which aren't signs, but planetary orbs that affect us. And we met Jupiter at a party, it would be, hey, good to see you. How the hell have you been? What are you doing? Are you traveling? Are you going anywhere in life? What's the big deal? What's the thing? What do you love? That's the enthusiasm that Jupiter brings to the table. And so right now we have Mars entering a new sign. As Mars travels through the constellation and enters a different sign each time, we just came out of Taurus. I'm breathing a sigh of relief because I was working furiously on my computer to finish something. Almost there. Okay. Hi, Leah's here too. And representing Canada, Toronto. And so when we look at Mars, Mars alone represents your energy, your blood system, your head, your eyes on the physical scale, your action, your inaction, your aggressiveness, assertiveness, passive aggressiveness. Wait till we talk about Mars and Cancer coming up in May. So right now, Mars is traveling through Gemini, and Gemini is an energy that wants to know. Tell me, talk to me. What's the intel? What's the info? Really, I didn't know that. I'm going to pass that along. I have a network of people. And it doesn't matter if you're a Gemini, sun, rising, moon, or not. It doesn't matter if you have Mercury in Gemini or Mars in Gemini. Well, if you have Mars in Gemini, you're going to feel this even more. But it doesn't matter, really. Hi, Wendy. Wendy, where are you from? We've been talking about all the places that come to visit me on these talks. California, Nevada, all across America, even Europe. We've got England, we've got Australia on both coasts, and we've got Canada on both coasts, Texas, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, New Jersey, New York, Colorado, Michigan. Where are you from, Wendy? Let us know. Massachusetts. All right, thank you. We have representation from every state, just about. And every state of being. That's the biggest state. Comedians should not laugh at their own joke, but I'm not a comedian, so I can get away with it. Okay, so Mars in the sign of Gemini, what does it mean to you? Well, it depends on where Mars lands in your chart. But in general, Mars, action, motion. Gemini, the information. Also science and or technology around science, like machinery, lasers, things that can help you advance it with your studies and research. So with Mars and Gemini from March 30th, already in play, through May 15th of 2019, what we're looking at is you feeling proactive. You want proof. You want to see advancement in something. So what do you want to see advancement in? What are you working toward? As I ask these questions, we have Rochester, New York, and Kate as well. Kate is here as well. So where do you want to see advancement? Because we're coupling information now. It's the Jupiter in retrograde for 4 months. And what kind of sets it off into motion is the Mars in Gemini, which helps you to gather information. And it can mean taking classes, researching something that you're very, it's come up. I'm interested in this. And how does it tie into the Jupiter in retrograde? In Sagittarius. Jupiter can go retrograde in any sign, but we're talking about Jupiter in retrograde in Sagittarius. Jupiter is in a natural placement in Sagittarius because every sign is guided by a planet. It's your planetary muse. So just a recap in case you don't know, that Aries, the sign of Aries is guided by Mars. The sign of Taurus is guided by Venus. The sign of Gemini is guided by Mercury. The sign of Cancer is guided by the moon. The sign of Leo is guided by the sun. Then who do we have? Virgo, guided by Mercury as well, just like Gemini, but they express it differently. And Libra, guided by Venus like Taurus, but they express it differently. And then we have Scorpio, guided by Pluto, which, technically in the science community, Pluto is not deemed a planet. But for astrology purposes, it's got the same kind of powerful core energy that it represents. And then Sagittarius is guided by Jupiter, and Capricorn is guided by Saturn. Aquarius is guided by Uranus. That is the correct pronunciation, unless you're in 4th grade and you want to make a joke. And then Pisces is guided by Neptune. So every sign has representation, just like every person here is representing a different state or part of the world. Thank you very much. So with Mars and Gemini, what you can expect is a push toward getting to the bottom of something in a very practical way, using information technology, using yes, phones, computers, research, but drawing to you, because Mars represents your energy. It's not always about going out to do it, but you set the intention. That's the Mars, it's like, that's what I want. I want to know how to get rid of weeds without using Roundup. That's a big discussion in our community. So we took a vote, and the majority ruled for the median in the main road that we have, one road, coming in and out of town, voted for Weed Zap. That's what it's called, Weed Zap, and it is a combination of clove and cinnamon oils that are toxic to weeds because they produce an acid effect. So I thought, I want to get some of that, because some people still use Roundup and spray toxin and poison, and I don't, and then up goes the rise of disease like Parkinson's and, autism and all these diseases that suddenly people are like, I don't know where it comes from. Well, let's talk about toxicity. So Mars is the action. Gemini is the intention of the information. It's like, what do you want to know? So that came to me yesterday, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to get some of this stuff and I'm going to spray the weeds. with cinnamon oil. You know what I mean? So it's like, where do you want to take this energy? That's not the only thing I'm doing with Mars and Gemini. I'm also editing and writing, and I'll be recording astrology masterclass program for you. So when you look at your days right now, and you can feel it too, the shift if you're paying attention. When a planet moves into a different constellation, it can be subtle. Because if you're busy doing 50 things, if you live in an area where there's noise pollution and, air pollution and technology pollution, there's too much information already. So you may not notice. But when Mars moves into Gemini, as it is now through May 15th, 2019, that impetus, that desire is very clear. Gemini can be very clear, even though they might change their mind, a week, a month, 5 years, 10 years later, and make it seem like, oh, you knew that I wanted to be an astronaut, right? It's like, you're a school teacher. When did you ever talk about space? But Gemini will make a right turn because it's exciting, it's information, and it's there. It's always ruminating. Gemini has an energy that is always generating the next thought. We all have that. But the Gemini energy combined with Mars, what it represents is your thoughtful application of the thing you want to discover the most. And that's what Jupiter is there for, too, to uphold that. Does that make sense? I'm going to have my dragon fruit, my favorite color, magenta. So 2 things regarding that. One, to get really clear on what's going on, I am offering a very powerful, it's not just a Jupiter retrograde reading, but it also combines what's coming up with the solar eclipse in July and also, where Mars is activating your houses for the next 6 months. And this particular hour reading goes back in time. So I'll be doing some pre-work to look at and calculate what the issue is that keeps coming up in your life that stops you from moving forward in a way that you really want to move. The thing that you really want to have. This person I spoke to yesterday on the phone was undergoing the same thing. And I said, well, where were you in 1995? Where were you in 2007? What was the recurring issue? And we spoke until they actually understood what their issue was. Not what's happening outside. Oh, well, they did that. They said that. They're doing that. They're a reflection. They are only a reflection of you. So when you can think about a memory you had with an instance, a person, a relationship, a job, a career, an encounter, with a neighbor, anything, the way you would think of putting on shoes yesterday. Yeah, I just put my shoes on and I went out. Okay, was it a big emotional event? No. That's where you want to go. That's the healing you want to have. So you can clear the issue because it's not about what they're doing, but it's about how you feel because of it. Does that make sense? Thumbs up, raise your hand, let me know. And when Mars, let me show you what Mars looks like in case you don't know. This is an actual technical drawing of Mars. No, it's not. So that's a symbol, astrological symbol of Mars. And it is a red planet. And astronauts are thinking of planning a trip there after they go to the moon. So I won't be on that journey. But some people will come back and discover and help us to discover what the remnants of whatever was going on Mars at the time, how it applies to us. With the same kind of fervor that a scientist or an astronaut would look at, hey, I want to get this done. I want to find out once and for all, what is the thing? Sometimes people will say to me, oh, what does it look like? What am I going to get a job? Or am I going to have, when will I find love? Well, the answer, is up to you. And if I look at something through cards or your energy or intuition or astrology, and I say, well, the timing of things is such that and I will look at your timing. The timing is such that before you go through your second divorce and get a third husband or wife or relationship, how about we look at the reasons you divorced the first 2 times? So we're stepping back now before we can move forward. Does that make sense? Thumbs up, raise your hand, let me know. And what is the issue now that you might be undergoing? Listen, by the way, as you write that in the comment section, if you happen to be someone who is a Gemini sun, rising, or moon, or you were born with a Mars in Gemini, this is going to be a very active time for you. And I mean more than usual. You could think you have nothing to do and suddenly 14 things come at you at once. And you feel the need to act on all of them. Now, you might be that way anyway if you drink coffee and you live in a fast-paced society. But especially if you are a Gemini sun, rising, or moon, or were born with a Mars in Gemini for the next 6 weeks, please pace yourself, because burnout is not an illusion. Adrenals need rest and some ashwagandha. Okay, so I'm going to look in the comment section. So, Jennifer says, 12 years ago, I decided to end my first marriage. I was so scared and broken and immature, and pushing carts in the Target lot on my birthday. There's nothing wrong with that. You were earning money. You were learning what it was like to be part of the working class while you figured out who you were during the divorce, right? And now here we are 12 years later, and you're not getting divorced. So if you're looking at, right? You're not getting divorced, are you? So if you're looking at who you are now 12 years later, the issue was you were ending a certain type of relationship. Let's just look at the umbrella. Okay, you were ending a certain type of relationship, and you were making money in a job that didn't feel, from what I'm understanding, that did not feel like your ideal dream job, correct? But I'm sure you've progressed since then. And now here comes the next version of it. What's the next version? If you're making money at a job that's just okay and it's not your ideal, what would be your ideal? What is the information needed to get to that ideal? What do you have to change in you regarding your perceptions and beliefs? And I'm talking to everybody. To get to that next place. Or to go deeper in a relationship. And the relationship doesn't have to be about marriage. It can be about partnership, business partnership. It can be about the type of clients you have if you have a business and you service clients. So you want to look at what's the next level to this information. What are you ready to move forward on regarding your transformation? I want to pull a card for everybody. Does that make sense? Right? So I didn't even look at, I asked my husband, Dean, what were you doing 12 years ago? And why don't I know about it? Or maybe I do. Maybe I was part of it. Okay. Hey, Dean, could you give a gift to everyone, please? If you've not yet downloaded my Bodhi Brainstorm, it's a binaural beat theta wave audio that you must use headphones with and read the PDF, please. There are parameters. And you only listen to it for no more than 20 minutes and see how you feel. Bodhi Brainstorm will help you to get beyond a sticky issue in your head that you can't seem to get beyond because you keep obsessing over the details. Well, step away from the details and look at the arching theme. What's the overall arching theme? Who were you in 2007 within that year of 12 months? And who are you now in comparison? And where do you want to take that? What's next for you? Okay, so Wendy says, I also got divorced 12 years ago. Hey, we should start a club. Right now, I'm changing my career after 15 years. I couldn't be more excited. Thank you being here, Elaine. It's very encouraging. You're so welcome. And good for you. Changing your career, that's big stuff because it means you're developing the part of you that didn't feel it was ready before. So with this, there it is. Thanks, Dean. Download the Bodhi Brainstorm that I developed. It's a hailstorm, and inside the hailstorm are theta wave beats and binaural beats that you need to hear with headphones so that they work best. And it takes you through alpha waves, beta waves, gamma, delta, theta. So it kind of stretches your brain without you having to do anything. Just imagine you have a hot cup of cocoa and it's nice and chilly and you can hear the storm outside while you're getting the vibrational healing that you need. All right. Oh, what's this card? I love this card. I don't think I've ever picked this one for this group. Free will. So many people, free will, what does that mean to you? Free will. So many people believe in fate. Oh, it was fated. It was going to happen anyway. It was in the stars. Okay. What's in the stars? Matter and antimatter. I don't know. Noble gases. Rocks. That's what's in the stars. And energy. And a memory of what once was. Okay. That's what's in the stars. Free will is your ability to look at who you are becoming, and make the distinction between, oh yeah, I'm not going around that same block again. Right? Free will is your ability to make a choice without needing permission or without apology. And I think one of the easiest ways to look at free will is if you act as if it's already happening, the thing that you want to be happening. I've got some comments here in the section. Let me just look here first. So Yvonne said, I went back to school at 47 years old and was scared, but I did it. Well, that's excellent. Bravo. Brava. And so you changed something. You excelled. You traveled. Now, sometimes traveling means going to a different country or culture, experiencing a different thought process or, food, but sometimes the traveling is in your mind and in your body. Sometimes you'll travel back in time in order to free yourself from the past so that you can move forward. So when you go forward in life and you stop every once in a while and you turn around and you see where you've come from, it's quite remarkable, isn't it? The changes that you've gone through. And yet you'll also see the one thread of the same pattern that keeps repeating itself. So as you look at the present moment of what's possible, you take into account what you've done, where you've been, with whom, why, and where do you want to go? Why? What's your big why? That's, if we could put it in marketing terms, I would call Jupiter your why. What's your big why? What do you want to be doing? What's the big hurry? What's the initiative? What's the goal? If you come from a place of that'll happen tomorrow. Okay, so that's all right too. You've got maybe some procrastination issues. Maybe it's you're in tune with your timing. Sometimes I know I have to switch things up with even doing these events. And I think, no, today is not the day. I don't have a reason. I don't have proof, even though Mars and Gemini will look for proof. My intuition will tell me it's about me and them put together, me and you put together. What's the best day and time for me to do this? In as many moments as possible, I want to keep a consistent schedule of making these recordings and doing these events. Absolutely. But every once in a while, it just feels like, no, I'll be spinning my wheels and I won't be heard. So I trust that because I have the training in order to trust that. So when you're moving through the next 6 weeks, And then on top of that, the next 4 months with Jupiter in retrograde. What I want you to be aware of is some of the vibrational changes in your environment. You suddenly feel, and it's going to be so mercurial. Okay. It's going to be so, I want to take a trip. I want to go somewhere. I want to take a class. I want to learn piano. I've always wanted to play the trumpet. You know, it's like people are looking at you and say, when? When is always? I've never heard you say that. And again, it doesn't matter if you're a Gemini sun, rising, or moon, or you have a Mars in Gemini. But if you do, it's going to be even more so. That feeling to, I got to clean up the desk. It's crazy in here. What is that? What's that over there? Why do I need that? I haven't used that in 15 years or 12, which is probably the case, or 24. So take a look at what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what's the motivation? What's your why? Why do you want to make that money? Some people say, oh, so that, I can take care of my family, or we can have extra cash in the bank in case I get sick, or we just want to go on vacation, or it just feels good to have more so I can buy the things that I want. Great. They're all valid reasons. As long as you know your why. Okay? That's important. And sometimes we have these impulsive, desires to change something, to be something, or to make a declaration. And as this Jupiter I'm playing with a little dendrite stone that I have. Every time I look at it, I see a different picture. Is that beautiful or what? And sometimes I see faces in there and I play with it and it's very smooth, and I'll turn it around and I'll see other faces and other things. So when I play with this, I get this very free feeling, maybe like free will. Free Willy. Free your will. Free your Willy. Oh my gosh, did I just say that? I'm so sorry to anyone under the age of 18 who's not supposed to be listening to things like that. On April 4th, I will be back talking about the 4-4 vibe and how that applies to you and what's transforming in your life. So when you think about Mars, let me show you Mars again. Mars, look at the arrow in Mars, okay? What's really fascinating is that with Jupiter, oh, wait, sorry, wrong one. I don't have the Sagittarius symbol. I'm sorry. Sagittarius symbol, wait a second. Yes, I do. I'm going to move it up. The Sagittarius symbol is also depicted with an arrow. So Jupiter guides Sagittarius. The arrow is about the direction, the search. With Mars, the arrow is about motion. So when you combine the Sagittarius drive, the Mars drive, and the Sagittarius direction, what do you think? You're going to come up with some of the most amazing, I just lost my little emoji. You're going to come up with some of the most amazing revelations of where you want to go and why. All right, let's put that arrow symbol in your mind as we move forward and think, all right, I have a direction. And if you've ever taken an archery class, which I have not, but I've watched people at country fairs, or I've, on TV shows or movies or Outlander or whatever, people shooting arrows. And I had to research how to use an arrow, a bow and arrow, for the second book that I wrote for Taurus in the 7th century. And, the precision, the muscles that you need, how you have to let go and release the tension. And it's such a skill and such an art. So make an art out of designing your life. Grab the Bodhi Brainstorm, listen to it, free your mind, start focusing on your why, and click the blue Book Now button to get your hour session with me. And we're literally going to use that arrow. Sky's the limit? No, there is no limit. And we're just going to see, where is it going to take you? All right, folks. Thanks for being here. All the states represented? Not yet, but soon. Pass it on. Let your friends know. I'll see you on April 4th. And in the meantime, be well, be present, and be sparkly. Thank you.